Yo, what is up, fam? Welcome to another Car Talk podcast. I believe this is episode, I want to say 14. I am your host, Austin Kroos, and yeah, I'm excited to get this podcast rolling. Today, I just kind of want to talk about, I've been talking a lot about creativity and just content creation and, big ambitions and big goals and stuff like that, and it was kind of ironic, like right after I posted a few podcasts, the most recent ones, I really went on like a creative lull, meaning like I just went into like a dip, like I just, no energy to create, like ultimately just really not in the mood to do anything creatively. And when I'm in those funks, like I've been in those, those funks happen, I'd say at least twice a month for me. It changes. Sometimes it doesn't even happen in a month. Sometimes it happens multiple times, even more than twice a month. But it's not fun. And when I first started following Gary Vee's content, and when I first started, creating content at the highest scale that I possibly could, because I realized like what the benefits could potentially mean. And essentially, like, obviously, if you have goals to be a content creator, you're eventually gonna want to have a big enough audience to be able to sustain that lifestyle, and that results in creating a lot of content every single day, every week, every month, like always showing up. And at first, I'm not even kidding, I struggled so much. I would judge the crap out of myself just because I didn't want to post an Instagram post, or because I didn't nothing in me wanted to go on TikTok and post to TikTok, and because of that, I would judge myself so hard that I would really have really tough days. And not only would I have tough days, but I would force myself to go on TikTok, and I would almost, I would still create, but I would hate what I created, and I would ruin the videos that I created into TikToks, because on a day that I was way more creative and way more in the mood per se, I would be able to edit that way better and just be able to do cooler things with it, maybe even add text where, on a day where I'm not feeling as creative or motivated, then I would, maybe not even add text in a TikTok that should have text. So it's like little subtleties and little things like that made me realize that if I want this to be sustainable, if I want this to genuinely last a lifetime, that is me creating content for a living, like, I'm gonna need to find a way to sustain my, my peaks and even my lows. And like, I came to the realization that someday, I'm gonna have a team working with me, and that team is gonna help me create content at a scale, that is consistent and that is at a good pace, but until then, it's going to take me 5 to 10 years until I can even find it, worth my while to build a team. But I've only been on 4 years of creating content, maybe 5 now. I'm just coming up on 5, I'd say. And I am nowhere near the point of being ready to hire a team or being ready to do anything like that. But what I am in the process of doing is working on judging myself less for not creating in a day or in a 2-day spurt, or maybe even in a week, you know what I mean? Like in the winter times, I usually get in this really weird seasonal funk, and I get cabin fever really bad, and I just get really depressed, honestly. And a lot of times I don't want to create when I'm like that, so I don't, and I try my best not to judge myself for that, because I know that eventually, next week, or maybe even in a day or two, I'll be in the mood to create again. And ultimately, that's, I just want this podcast to be a learning experience for others to be able to also realize, maybe I'm judging myself too hard in no matter what you're doing. It can be content creation, it can be even, it can literally be anything, don't judge yourself. I always say, don't judge others. That was my big thing 3 years ago. But my biggest thing was I felt like I was a hypocrite because I was judging myself the most. I was literally judging myself so much that it was crippling me. And that's the one thing that I was missing. So I don't know. I just want this podcast to really highlight the fact that if you judge yourself less, you will become happier and you will become more productive in the long run, like genuinely. And if you genuinely love what you're saying that you love, and if you genuinely want to do what you're saying that you want to do, you will find a way to be productive and to do those things. There are going to be days that you do not feel, up to it, and that's okay. It's just like, I can compare it to if you go to the gym, you know dang well that there are some chest days where you feel super, super good. You feel like you can, hit, whatever weight you normally hit. And then other days, it's like you go in there and you hit that same exact weight that you were hitting last week, and it just feels way different. Like you just feel way weaker, or maybe even stronger. Like genuinely every day your body's energies are, your body's energy is different. And you have to have empathy for that. And you have to just kind of realize that you got to ride with it. You know what I mean? You can't ride against it, because if you go against that, you're going to just mess up what you got going. So with that being said, I hope you guys are out there spreading your happiness, spreading some kindness today, and stay curious. I want you guys to stay curious. That's the most important thing in this life. Stay curious, keep learning, and keep striving for your goals. But ultimately, remember, especially for my folks that have a lot of big ambitions, don't judge yourself as much. You're going to be better off when you judge yourself less. That doesn't mean be complacent and don't do work. That's not what that means. A lot of times, I'm going to go into bigger detail on this in the future, but a lot of times the things that your mind doesn't want you to do are the things that you need to get done, and that are going to feel good once you do get them done. So just remember that as well. But also, like everything in this world ebbs and flows. If you're in that dip, it's okay. It's okay. You're going to come out of that dip in a day or two. And once you do, pick up the momentum, and don't let the momentum drop until you go back in that dip again. That's the other thing that I've realized. Like, I'll pump out 4 videos in a week. If that's what I feel in my soul, I am feeling like I can do creatively. And like, that's my jam. Like, that's how I want you guys to be too. Is like, if you feel super, super good, post 10 times a day. Who cares? Like, literally, the algorithm will sort those out, or you can even draft some of those and then post them, a couple days later or whatever. Like, when you're in that, dip. But genuinely, just keep doing you. I'm proud of you. And yeah, reach out if you ever want to talk. I'm always here. Peace.